Hi students, how are you all? Hope you all are fine. I know I'm not familiar to you. I'm a new teacher here. My name is Sreeba. I'm here to teach you English. Today I'm going to teach you English. English is a language. What is a language? Do you know what is a language? A language is a means of communication. What is communication? Communication means you are sharing ideas. Every day you talk to your parents, friends, relatives and all. By the time what you are doing? You are sharing ideas. You are communicating to your parents, friends and all. And to communicate, we need a language. There are variety of language, lot of languages, right? We are learning many languages. And among this language, English has a great importance, right? Why do we learn English? Why we are giving importance to English? Do you know that? English is a global language. What is a global language? It's a language spoken by people around the world, right? Most of the people are able to speak English. So it is easy for us to communicate. Suppose a person from another country may not be. You have to, if you want to speak to a person from Japan, you have to learn Japanese, right? But if the person knows that language, English, it is easy for you to communicate with him instead of learning Japanese, right? So that is the importance of English. It's a global language and it is known or spoken by most of the people in the world. And I told you before that I'm going to teach you English. For grade 5, now you are in grade 5, right? And what you have learned in grade 4? I know you have learned a lot of things. Do you remember what are things you have learned in grade 4? You learn spellings, words, sentences, right? And do you have any idea what you are going to learn in grade 5? Yes, in grade 5 we have 6 lessons and 3 poems. Along with that we have grammar like phrasal verbs, tenses, sentences, sentence structures, so and so on. To begin, let's start with the lesson, right? Before starting, I want to welcome you all to this English class. And we know you are facing, I know you are facing during these days you are enjoying a new learning experience. Online learning experience. Your teachers are teaching you online, right? And now your school, your home is your school and your room is your classroom, right? Still you are enjoying that learning. And I know we all are locked inside due to the global pandemic. Because of the global pandemic, COVID-19, we are all locked inside. Now you are not able to go out, right? You are not able to go out, play with your friends, you cannot go for a trip, no outing, nothing. So you are unhappy, right? So today I am going to take you out. Are you happy now? I know you are so excited. I can see your happy faces, right? Shall we go out? Yes. We can go for a trip. Where do you want to go? Tell me. Any ideas? Wherever you want to go, we tell me. Any destination? Okay, what about a world trip, world tour? We can go around the world. Let's travel around the world. Right? Are you ready? Now, to travel around the world, how do we travel? Now we have the place, we have got the spot where to go, right? But how do we go? We have different modes of transport to travel, right? Which transport you want? Can you tell me some of the means of transport? Yes, we have. Yes, very good. We have land transport, air transport, water transport. Yes, in land transport we have. Can you name some of the land transport? Yes, like cars, buses. Yes, can you go in a bullock cart? Can we travel around the world in a bullock cart? Yes, it's possible, but it will take a lot of time, right? So, what about aeroplanes? Do you want to go in aeroplane to travel around the world in aeroplane? I think it's expensive, right? So, I prefer train, right? Let us travel. Let us start our tour in train, right? Okay. Now get ready. All of you please get ready for the journey. Then do you have any guess within how many days we can complete our journey? Yeah. Any guess? 10 days, 15 days? Can you complete? Can you finish our trip? We are going to travel around the world in 80 days. Okay, we are going to travel around the world in 80 days. Now we know we have the spot where to go. We have fixed the picnic spots, the modes of travel, everything ready. Now we have to start, right? Yes, pack your bags, all of you, and we can go for, let us start our trip. Before starting the trip, let's give a caption to our trip. Any suggestion from your part? Any caption to our trip? Yes. Since we are starting from India, we can call it an Indian trip. So we can call it an Indian journey. Now you may got an idea, right? Today what we are going to learn? We are going to learn the chapter, first chapter, an Indian journey. Let's start our lesson, right? An Indian journey, it's an extract taken from the famous novel Around the World in 80 Days. It is taken from the famous novel Around the World in 80 Days. It's written by the French writer Jules Verne. It's written by the French writer Jules Verne. This is our author, Jules Verne. Jules Gabriel Verne was a French novelist, poet and playwright. Before starting our lesson, I will brief the story. What is the name of our lesson? An Indian Journey. I told you it's an extract. What is an extract? Extract is a small passage. It's a small passage and a small story taken from the famous novel Around the World in 80 Days. The novel tells about a bet. Phileas Fogg, he happened to see an article in an English newspaper. And the article says that with the starting of a new rail in India, it's possible to travel around the world in 80 days. So, he made a bet with his friends. Who made the bet? Phileas Fogg. He made a bet with his friends for 20,000 pounds, saying that he will travel around the world in 80 days. So, what was the bet amount? It's 20,000 pounds. You know, a pound is an European currency. It's a European currency and 20,000 pounds is a huge amount. So, he made the bet and started his journey. Who is the person? Phileas Fogg. He started the journey. He had a companion in his journey, that is his butler. Butler is a male servant. What's the name of the butler? Passepartout. It's pronounced as Passepartout. And both of them started their journey. They started their journey from Mumbai. Okay, now they are going to travel around the world. Who are going to travel around the world? Phileas Fogg and his butler, French butler Passepartout. They started their journey from Bombay. During their journey, they had to face a lot of obstacles. Do you know whether he is able to complete his journey, to travel around the world in 80 days? Do you think so? Okay, if you want to know, just take the novel Around the World in 80 Days and read it. Okay. Now, let us start with our lesson. Now, let's start our lesson. What is the name of our lesson? An Indian Journey. I'll read for you. All of you listen carefully. Okay. The train gave a sharp screech and passed out into the darkness of the night. Passepartout and Fogg rode in the same carriage, and a third passenger occupied a seat opposite to them. This was Sir Francis Cromarty, a distinguished general. Phileas Fogg was at that moment calculating how many hours it had been since his departure from London. He had not hidden his plan of going round the world, nor the circumstances under which he had left from Sir Francis. The general thought the bet was eccentric and that it showed a lack of common sense. An hour after leaving Bombay, the train had passed the island of Salsette. A while later, they passed Powell and entered the valleys that lay between large mountains. Phileas Fogg and Sir Francis Cromarty exchanged a few words from time to time, and now Sir Francis, restarting the conversation, said, "Some years ago, Mr. Fogg, you would have met with a delay at this point which would probably have lost you your wager." "How so, Sir Francis?" "Because the railway stopped at the base of these mountains. The passengers had to cross in palanquins or on ponies to Kandala on the other side. Such a delay would not have upset my plans at all, said Mr. Fogg. I have been prepared to face certain obstacles from the time I began this journey. The conversation fell again. During the night, the train led the mountains behind and travelled over the flat country of the Khandish the next day. Now students, hope you have listened to this lesson. All of you please read the story silently. Go for a silent reading. I hope you have read the story, right? Have you understood something? Did you get any idea? What are the main characters in this story? How many characters are there? There are 3 characters, right? Who are they? Yes, first one is Phileas Fogg, Passepartout, and the third one is Sir Francis Cromarty. Now they have started their journey, right? From where did they start their journey? They started their journey from Mumbai, right? They started a train journey. Now the train started. How did the train start? Gave a screech sound. Did it start very slowly? No, with a loud sound, right? With a screech. The train started with a screech. What does it mean by screech? Screech means a high sound, loud sound, a high loud sound. The train started with a high sound. And Passepartout and Fogg, they rode the same carriage. What is the meaning of rode? Rode means travelled. They travelled in the same carriage, same compartment. And there was a third passenger. Who was that third passenger? That is Sir Francis Cromarty. What was he? He was a distinguished general. Who is a general? General means an army officer. He is a famous, distinguished general. This Francis Cromarty is a famous army officer. 3 of them started their journey. And now, Fogg was calculating how many hours he had taken from his how many hours he had taken since his departure from London. Now, in between, they are discussing. Now, there is Fogg was calculating how many hours he had taken from his departure from London. Now we know Sir Francis Cromarty was also there in the same compartment. So Fogg has told the circumstances that made him this journey, that forced him to take this journey. What is the circumstances? Circumstance means a fact or event that make a situation. Here, what is the situation? What is the circumstances that forced Fogg to travel, to start the journey? Don't you remember that? That bet, right? He had a bet with his friends that he will travel around the world in 80 days. This is the circumstances, right? Now, by hearing this story, by hearing about this, what did General feel? Was he excited? No, he was not at all excited. He felt it is an eccentric idea. Felt that the circumstances that led Fogg to take the journey, he thought it is an eccentric idea. Eccentric means unusual or strange or a funny. You know, he is an army officer. So he is very serious and a responsible person. Being a responsible person, he is aware of his duty. What is his duty? To protect the country, right? So he felt this as a funny idea. Now, since they started their journey, they have passed through many places. They passed the island of Salsette and Powell, and they entered the valleys and mountains. They passed through the mountains, valleys and all. In between, Fogg and the general, they exchanged conversation. In between they started their conversation. They began to talk each other. And at some point, he told that if they were starting, Fogg was starting his journey long before, he would have met with a delay at that point. And this delay might have led to his wager. What do you mean by wager? Wager means bet, right? And he said that at this point, he would have met with a delay, and this delay might have led to the loss of his bet. He might have lost his bet. Then he asked, what is it? What is the reason? What was the reason? And because long before, railway stopped at that point, in the base of the mountain. After that, there was no rail. People have to get down there, and they have to cross the place, Kandara, that mountain, in palanquins or ponies. You know what is a palanquin? I'll show you palanquin. This is a palanquin. It is also a mode of transport used in olden days, very old days, especially by king and queen. People belongs to royal family. They use this transport, and this is used for a single passenger. Only one person can travel at a time, and it is carried by people. This palanquin was carried by people on their shoulders, and they were called palanquin bearers. Sarojini Naidu has written a beautiful poem on palanquin bearers. She has written a beautiful poem. If you get a chance, please read the poem. Okay. They have to use palanquins or ponies. You know what is a pony, right? And hearing this, what did Fogg say? Fogg says that such delay, if there is a delay also, it would not upset my plans. I will not be upset if there is a delay also. What is the reason? He had already prepared to face all the obstacles that may come across his journey. Okay, he is ready to face all the obstacles. What is an obstacle? An obstacle is a block. Okay, there may be some block in your ways, right? That blocks are called obstacles. Now they stopped their conversation, and now it's night. Okay, and the night also the train passed. Continued their journey, and The next day they reached Candish. This is all about our lesson. We'll continue with next class. Before that, let's revise what we have learned. I hope you understand the story well, right? Can you summarize what we have learned today? Yes. Now I will tell you what we have learned today, and you know that Phileas Fogg and his friend Passepartout, they started a journey from Mumbai to travel around the world. And on the same compartment they met, and they have a there is a fellow passenger in the same compartment. He is a distinguished general, and Fogg and this general had they involved in a conversation, and Fogg explained the circumstances that lead him to this journey, and in between they have a nice conversation, and they pass through the mountains, and the journey continues till the next day. Before winding up, let's see which all new words you have learned today. First one is screech, right? What is the meaning of screech? Screech means a high, loud sound. I have made a sentence with screech here. I listened to the screech of parrots in the tree. I listened to the screech of parrots in the tree. Next word is road. Next word is road. Road means traveled. People rode back to their villages happily. Third one is circumstances. Circumstances means facts or events that make a situation. Now look at the sentence. He is a victim of circumstances. Next one is eccentric. Eccentric means, next word is eccentric. Eccentric means strange or unusual. I cannot accept his eccentric ideas. Last one is obstacles. Obstacles means some things that block you, that block your way or block your ideas. Whatever it is, we call it obstacles. He faced a lot of obstacles. Now, this is all about today's class. I hope you have enjoyed the journey, right? Now, what you have to do is that write down today's experience, what you feel today about the class, about our journey, that you can write down in your diary. Thank you, students. All of you read the story very well, and I will upload the test tomorrow. Prepare well for the test. Thank you.